had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it was the case, but that's just very hard to believe. Well, very hard to believe for me too, trust me. I told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Alright, well, you better pay close attention to what you're saying over here, Leonoski. Yeah, alright. I feel so heavy, still throbbing like anything. Okay. I feel like at this point, the only thing we can do is tell her the truth about him being a stowaway. Why are you even on board this ship now, Hoda-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Yeah, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could he have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? Well, the thing is about that... No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Don't tell me that you and Kazuma are... Maybe. One could say that they are closer than you could imagine. Kazuma invited me. Don't be creating like your different stories here. Yeah, sorry. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to snuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Oh yeah, you did say that. But I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development. The center of the world, in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes. Can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yeah, maybe. Something's still bothering me a little. Something tells me that there's more to Kazuma's death than we may realize at first. I do have a hunch, but maybe it has something to do with what he was thinking after the trial and such. That this has something to do with his supposed death. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I have ever seen it before. Sato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. Yeah. I think that as well. You should totally go with that, Susato. He was truly thinking of you. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. Alright.
If you're not a culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin?
The thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I...
Fell asleep?
Well, yes.
So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed?
Oh, yes. Well, if it was silent death, then someone like Ryunosuke would not be able to notice. If there was screaming and such, then it is something to be questioned. Especially since I'm seeing some rubble there on the right. There are definitely... I mean, at first glance, maybe there was some struggling going on around here. That sounds unbelievable. Really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I had woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason. And it's still throbbing like anything.
Really?
Is something wrong?
Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it.
If only he woken up, then perhaps he wouldn't be in this predicament. He said still throbbing like anything. And Susato has been silent about it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it.
I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this.
Well, we wouldn't know until we ourselves investigate this with our own minds. Ugh. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I cannot take this.
Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You cannot leave. I cannot allow that to happen.
I'm sorry. Kazuma was killed right under my nose here. And I didn't do anything to stop it. And I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No. I cannot allow that to happen.
Well, what do you propose to do then?
I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life. And how and why they did it. Alrighty then. I guess so. It's time to do this investigation right over here, inside this room first. I assume that, as of now, we are not gonna have, like, any access to Kazuma's body. That they took away, and such. So the only thing that we can do is investigate this, supposed locked room murder. I've been doing quite a few of those in the past year or so, so let's see what I can manage around here. So I'm sorry, we're going to have to excuse me.
Hiya!
Whoa! What the?
That was a Susato takedown.
Oh my. So that what? What martial art form is that?
I'm going to need you to prove it.
Sorry? Prove it? Oh, what? Are we gonna prove it in combat? Okay.
Yes, your innocence. I need evidence.
But how am I supposed to...
Have you forgotten already? What did you choose just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law.
Yeah, and basically we're gonna have to do this again. Yeah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. And that is exactly what we're gonna do. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Okay. Well, let's see. Paper seal. Kazuma would stick this over the doors of the wardrobe for me. It says, "Keep out" in Japanese. I'm not sure the Russian crew can actually read it. Well, okay. This was stuck on the wardrobe, where Ryonosuke was. I mean, if it was still stuck, even when the death happened, then there's no way that Ryonosuke would have done it. Because if he was the one that did it, then there was no way that the paper seal would still be on the wardrobe when it happened.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors?
Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly.
Then you could say that it couldn't have been him. Because if he was the one that did it, and he was stuck, because if he was the one that did it, and he was hiding inside the wardrobe, do you think that this paper seal would still be on the wardrobe in the first place? I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well.
Ah! Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them.
Yeah, that's true. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. That is true. The only way you can think that Ryonosuke did it was that he had an accomplice. But do you really think that he had that? You only suspected him. So, no, it couldn't have been him.
Yes, that's quite true.
Oh, seals. They can be quite deadly, but they can also be quite useful. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma.
Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you.
Yeah, I mean, he can do that while he has like 5 or 6 bones broken in him because of your technique there, Susato. He managed to think of that even while his bones are broken, and he's in pain right now. Oh yeah, now that you mention it, I do feel like I'm in pain right now. Oh god, I cannot even move! Thank you, Susato-san. Now, can you, I don't know, can you use your technique to pull my bones back in place?
Yeah, with pleasure.
Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up?
Yep, let's see. Well, in the light of that evidence... Hold on, you still have like a broken bone right over here.
Yeah, just please be gentle.
I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here, at least.
Thank you. So you finally believe me?
I'm sorry. No.
What?
I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position.
Or, you know, have like a delayed death over here, like a silent treatment for Kazuma's murder. I mean, yeah, I did say that it couldn't have been Ryonosuke, but there are certainly ways for Ryonosuke to have killed Kazuma, even if he was inside and the seal was still in it. Like, for example, Ryonosuke would be inside the wardrobe and Kazuma put the seal on it. However, before all that happened, Ryonosuke might have put some poison or used like some poison on Kazuma to kill him, and it will be time delayed. And by the time Ryonosuke was back inside the wardrobe and Kazuma put the seal, then like the poison would take effect and it would kill Kazuma there, with Ryonosuke still in the wardrobe. I mean, that's one possibility. There could be like several possibilities as well. You know, you been helping me like a minute ago. Why do you, well, are you going back on being guilty over here? Yeah, sorry, Ryonosuke. It's just that I'm thinking from multiple angles here. I do have multiple perspectives to take into account. What does you think I am, a magician? Maybe. Maybe you do like spare magics. Maybe you do like magic stuff in your spare time. Yeah, I mean, you know, I do magic stuff like myself in my spare time as well.
For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same.
Alright, let's go to work, Susato-san.
Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts.
Oh,
I should be watching you, to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example.
yeah, don't worry. I mean, I was joking about it before, but I don't see Ryonosuke as the magic type. Right. Anyway, I should make a start on investigating here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Quote-unquote death. Alrighty then. Well, I guess so. Good old investigation right over here. Okay, well, we conversed with Susato here. I don't think that we can move to begin with. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by crew. Not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin. For the time being, at least. I should focus on investigating here to see what I can find out. Alright, well, I did say that I had my fair share of locked door mysteries in the past year or so. But I guess, well, I guess it's time for me to go back to my old roots of what I see is what I believe. Right over here. Like, we're going back to the old ammunition of using evidence to solve a case. Cause, let me tell you, Yumineko is like a totally different beast in my eyes. It is not a story to be toyed with, that's for sure. It is quite drastically different when it comes to interpreting its story and interpreting the mystery of that. In a very complex and also quite unique and extraordinary way of doing it. It is quite different from from the investigation that I've been doing prior to that, in similar fashion to what we're about to do right over here. So, yeah, it's time for me to go back to my old mindsets of how we can investigate this a little bit. Let's see.
This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing.
London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. Ah yeah, also, go read Yumineko. Just gonna keep reminding you guys of that. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue.
Hiya!
Okay, come on!
That's out of the question.
Susato, we're trying to investigate right over here.
Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts.
But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I don't read it.
Poor Kazuma-sama.
I'm not prying into people's personal matters either. In this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Well, we could be talking about, just keeping his private thoughts, you know, private and all that. Well, what if this has something to do with Susato herself? I mean, okay, I don't... don't think of this as me, like, having no faith in those around me. I'm just thinking of multiple perspectives over here that may come up later. Like, for example, what if Susato didn't want us to read something specific that was in the diary that Susato herself doesn't want Ryunosuke to find out? Something about her or Ryunosuke or something. For example, if we were to go with, like, one situation that comes out of my mind over here, who knows, maybe Kazuma faked his death, and Susato knows about that. But in that case, would Kazuma really write about his plans of faking his death inside his diary? I don't know about that one. Like, me personally, if I were to do that, I wouldn't write all the stuff in my diary, because it could be possible that someone might read my diary while I was gone, while I was faking my death, because they think that they would need to investigate my room, so they would read my diary as well, to see what my thoughts were before my supposed death and such. So Kazuma writing about his supposed plan, if we were to think that he had like any plan or something like that, it's not in character, but I guess we shall see. If the diary has something that Susato doesn't want us to see, that there is an ulterior motive to this entire thing. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san?
Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused. I forget to look around properly.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruto-san? I'm sure you're careful to look all around using BM, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Thank you. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. In more ways than one, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so I guess we can do this in increments. We cannot really go like at all angles. Okay. Also, okay, interesting. There's like a check mark right over there that tells us that we already investigated this. Like nothing else that we can investigate right over here. What about this?
I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin.
Isn't that a little odd?
What do you mean?
Well, this ventilator room. If that's what it is, it looks like it must connect to the next door cabin.
Yeah, it would appear to. You're right.
But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside.
That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that.
I suppose. Maybe that's it. Either way, in my eyes, I see it as another entry route inside this room. Although I do have to say myself that it feels too obvious for this supposed locked room. For this supposed locked room's only exit, besides the door, would be the ventilator right over here. It feels like too obvious for that to be the solution of a locked room mystery. I'm just saying.
It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruto-san?
I think living isn't quite the right description.
Oh no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout.
The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yeah, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. I don't know, I mean, couldn't he have done that, like, under the bed, maybe? Well, last night was no exception.
But because of that, he had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin.
No, sadly not. Well, we do have to take into account that Urionosuke's memory is a little foggy. I guess that's typical. So maybe something happened last night. Like, when a crew member might have come in right over here. Okay then. What is this? What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware. The thing was, it appears to have broken clean in too.
The glass is such a beautiful color.
It's like a cute little knits.
Looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit.
I'm not sure that sounds like Cosmo. He wouldn't have to carry a cute little trinket like this around with him.
Would he? And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has sort of brick-like hue.
Yeah, you're right. It's the color brick, isn't it? I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin.
That's a very large traveling case, isn't it?
Yeah, it carries a lot of memories for me. It even carried you!
Memories? What do you mean?
Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was right back on board inside the case.
Yeah. I see it says, "this way up" in Japanese.
Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then was tossed on the floor in here.
Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds.
Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown, that's for sure. I had only broken like 3 of my bones while I was inside there. Susato managed to break like 6 of his bones, like, in no time. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Well, the positioning of the body, given the white marks over here, does tell us that at first glance. Look, it's written in ink.
He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage.
Makes me question what this is.
Poor Kazuma-sama. Now that he was in terrible pain, it's almost unbearable to imagine it.
I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? Oh, sorry, partner, but I cannot read your writing.
I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san.
What? Then what language is it?
It pains me to admit it, but I don't know.
It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Hey... Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. Hello there. Nice to meet you. As far as I can tell, man, it looks like you might be European.
Oh, how did he...
Yeah, because surely Europeans would totally look at discs that way. You'd notice the man too, have you? It wasn't just my imagination. I have no idea who he is, or how he got in here. He looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall.
Ah! Naruto-san, don't tell me... Do you really not know who that is?
Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. You don't know who that man is? He is the one and only Naruto-san! The one and only! He can only be! Doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk? Or is he just playing on it? I cannot tell.
Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him.
Are you just imagining, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? Wouldn't you? I mean, it's the one and only!
By the way, I expect you noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on the people when they are in the crosshairs.
Yeah. I get that. I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sight and see what he has to say for himself.
Oh, please do.
Oh my god. Sir? Can we talk to you for a second? Excuse me? Excuse me? Do you have a moment? Shh! This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. You know what? I do have to respect his bounds. He's doing his thing, you know. He is doing the investigating right over here. We can only interrupt the legend over here, you know.
Yeah, perhaps that will be for the best.
Greetings. I hope I haven't...
Ah!
It's you! What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Oh my goodness! It's you! The one and only! The one that I can only tell you. Alright, I got that out of my system. Well, hello there, mister. It is nice seeing you. It is lovely. Now, before we continue with this, before we continue praising our one and only over here, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about in regards to this case, like 2 things or something. Like, with what Susato said, I think that it would be wise to question who wrote out those last words and such, because, well, first of all, it does make you question if Kazuma even knew Russian in the first place, if those words are Russian, because that is another thing that we have to take into account. If we're actually talking about a Russian word over there, or some kind of code, that is for something for us to figure out as well. But it kind of makes you think as well, because remember what Susato said to us about how the events in the morning happened, how she entered the room and such. She barged in with a crew member to see what happened inside and saw Kazuma's dead body. Now, from her perspective, we saw Kazuma's dead body, and if you were to look closely, you would notice that there's no ink on Kazuma's finger. So that does make you question if he wrote that in the first place. Now, granted, that is from Susato's perspective. Like, we, the readers, saw that. Like, it doesn't mean that Ryonosuke saw the actual body through Susato's mind. So, can we use evidence like that? Not really. However, if our one and only over here, if he took a picture of the crime scene, because he surely seems to be well prepared for this. He would have like a camera as well. Like, if he took a picture of Kazuma's dead body, and we would notice that the finger had no ink on the finger, like that we can use as evidence. So there's that. And there's also this whole thing with the Japanese and the Russian thing that we have to determine, like, what is going on over here, like who wrote what and what. Because not only do we have to question the last words written there in ink, we also have to question, like, Kazuma's idea over here with the seal. Because, like, okay, he put the seal on the wardrobe so that nobody would open it to notice Ryunosuke inside. But he wrote in Japanese. As far as I know, thus far, the crew members know only Russian. They probably don't know Japanese, but that is also something that we have to question. But at first glance, why would you write it in Japanese if there's a high chance that the crew members don't even know Japanese? They wouldn't even know what is said on there. If you were to write it in Russian, then maybe the crew members would understand it better. But nah, something tells me that if we are to go with the fake death kind of thing, maybe I mean, it can very well be possible that Kazuma knew all this stuff is gonna happen, and the reason why he put that seal on the wardrobe, it wasn't for not letting strangers like crew members to see inside the wardrobe. No, it was to prove that Ryunosuke was innocent because of what we did just like half an hour ago with Susato and Ryunosuke, to prove that it wasn't Ryunosuke, because you can now put the seal back on the wardrobe if you are inside the wardrobe. So maybe that was also Kazuma's plan. It wasn't necessary to let strangers not to go inside, like not to check the wardrobe. It was to prove Ryunosuke's innocence with that. So maybe there's also that. So, I mean, we don't have the evidence for that. I guess we shall see. Hello there. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? I think he's looking right through me. Haha, yes. Everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. No? Sorry? What? And now, while venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh. Well, that's true at least. I mean, he got half and half.
But how?
How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary introduction, hardly worth explaining.
Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else?
But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. Oh my god, how did he know? That is true. I am of the Revolutionary Army. I am currently going against the government and such. Like, we are definitely in a pickle. Now, if we were to get the help of the pirates, though, that would be pretty interesting. Like, I've heard of those pirates called the Straw Hats. I mean, they would be pretty helpful to us. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the very-bodied occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yeah, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. At least you got like 10% of that, I guess. Maybe I feel like these are some references from his old books. And just be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill, yo? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. He seems like fun.
So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama.
You got that out of him? What?
And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruto-san. Absolutely wicked.
Oh, listen, there's no way I...
Hiya!
Oh, God!
Now explain yourself. Tell me everything.
Ryonosuke would explain himself, but you kind of broke his neck over there. I think that he's dead. This is ridiculous.
How could he do it?
For Peter's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. I mean, at least I don't think so. Like, obviously, I'm not.
Oh, forgive me.
And as for you, mister, what kind of deduction was that? You're just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Yeah, you got that right. Well, yeah, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest... Yeah, like, he was more than likely, joking about the rest of the stuff. He knows that, what he said last right over here is, like, more accurate. The ship is en route to England, and I'm handcuffs at this scene of crime. And I'm in handcuffs at the scene of the crime. So I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed. An observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a bracy certitude. Did you say truffles? And more often than not, I'm right. Huh. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes?
The very same. The inimitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this band, Sato-san?
The most famous detective in the world? Naruto-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him.
Yeah. Open your eyes, Ryonosuke. Open your eyes. You have been on the rocks all this entire time? You gotta be kidding me. What planet have I been living on then?
We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure.
Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Alrighty then, let's converse with our one and only great detective over here. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed. I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. I see. You're German? Hairlock, was it? No. I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh, it must be one of his books.
Yes, a Ranston magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I'd never miss an issue. I had it sent from England especially.
And the rate these times is probably expensive, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? Yeah, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Yeah, I actually do have that. I do have like a book of a collection of short stories. I actually call it The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Hold on, let me grab it real quick. Yep, I have like right over here. There are like 2 books for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes over here. Yeah, there's the Bohemia short story. Now I do also have like Study in Scarlet. Now this one reminded me of what we have right over here with the message in quote-unquote Russian, if it's the same. Now we are gonna figure out something at first glance. We're gonna see it, but you know, who knows? Maybe by the end of it all, we're gonna notice like a completely different meaning. Same here with like a Study in Red, like Raquel and such. It is like a German word from what I remember, actually. And there have been examples of that before, like in Danganronpa, where a thing was a number when in actuality was something else. So yeah, we do have to question like the last writing right over there on the floor. Indeed I am. I read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are the detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detective achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer? Do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Yeah, about that. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown, yo! Really? I cannot work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Now, okay, you know what? I have read some of Sherlock Holmes's stories like years ago. I cannot say that I am gonna be able to remember some of them. It can be that he is gonna reference like a lot of stories, some of which I've already read before, but I won't remember. I probably won't remember at first glance. Like I remember some titles. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form.
A science?
Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in a subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, photos in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. You can look at me in the eye and claim that. So you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction. And fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. Alrighty then. Great detective Sherlock Holmes. What can you say? What can you tell us about Kazma's death? Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything yet? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. He was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I see. In other words, I'm in this now because of him.
When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime.
Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto.